Hi, everybody. It is Wednesday, the 15th of May, 2024. Remember, I am a clairvoyant, clairaudient, so everything is for entertainment purposes only. Disclaimers in the box, along with the buy me a coffee. Um, I, it's going to be interesting over the next few weeks, but you know what? I'm not even going to get into that mess. Um, but what has really caught my attention, especially in the past couple of days, is the nonsense going on with the Eurovision contest. I mean, why can't we go back to the days when Celine Dion was representing a country? I mean, we really, really need to turn back to those days. I mean, right now, all these little trolls, these kids that were never taught correct history, are having kitten fits and protests and making cat calls whenever the female singer who's representing Israel is up on stage. And what's the most ironic is this little girl, or whatever she thinks she is, from Ireland. She goes by the name of Bambi Thug. Oh, which Bambi Thug? I'm like, come on, get real. Anybody who knows anything about Wicca knows that whatever you're going to put out to the world, into the universe, will come back to you threefold. So all this hate and negativity that this Bambi Thug is putting out, it's going to come back 3 times worse on herself. And plus we've got the Swedish crotch goblin Greta Thunberg going at it. I'm like, when did she become such an expert on music competitions? I thought she was a climate change puppet. But I guess wherever the money is, that's where Greta Thunberg goes. So I wonder how much she's getting paid for each one of these appearances to bash somebody. Is she on the Soros family payroll? Really, I'm really, really questioning that. And then they showed the image of the gal from Greece who's representing Greece. Whenever she's asked for an opinion or a comment, she pretends to be asleep. Yeah, all of this is showing the current anti-Semitic behavior of the under 50s. And it's anyone who bashes anyone these days needs to get their head flushed of all the evil propaganda that's been drilled into them. And they need to be taught the realities and go back to real history, because the first big religion was Judaism. Then came Christianity. Then came Mohammed and his warped sense of sexual gratification. Definitely. That's all it is the guy didn't want to be called out for essaying little girls. So he created his own little tribal following. Yeah. And these fools that are promoting and applauding the behavior of these men that enjoy doing not so nice things to women, it's ironic because if they're so pro-Palestine, why haven't they gone to join the people in the Gaza area? Are they afraid? Do they realize that all these funky colored haired idiots, these alphabet soup plus protesters, are they getting paid via money that was laundered through the Ukraine. I mean, who's the one who went out and bought all those tents in mass? If you look at the college protests, they all have the same camping gear. I'm surprised that the manufacturer didn't notice that there's all of a sudden getting a huge order and it's being paid by one certain account number. Somebody should have said something. Or maybe they're holding back that information for when it goes into the world court. So, yeah, Eurovision, unfortunately, it's almost over, so it's too late. It's almost too late to go get cell phones that you can text internationally on here in the States. But if we could, if somebody does have a cell phone and that you can text, I think there's one more day of the competition. Start texting in the support for Israel. Let's show that there's votes coming from all over. I mean, we just have to. It's getting ridiculous now. Because it used to be a great music thing that shared peace and harmony worldwide, but the evil anti-Semites have turned it into a hate factory. This is the same nonsense that was happening in Germany starting around 1924. History is repeating itself again 100 years later. And I've got my Hanukkah sweater on. It's a little bit chilly, but I figure, hey, since I am really discussing the anti-Semitic behavior of a lot of little brats, hey, it's appropriate to wear today. And people who bash me for my belief system, there's people out there, but hey, I just learned to ignore it. I have blind faith that heavens above will take care of them. It's going to blow up in their face one day, and all I have to do is sit back with my popcorn and laugh at their own fall. Now, we're also getting more and more information about how Duke University really flipped the script. I mean, you had all these little monsters at Duke supporting Palestine, causing ruckus on campus. So, who does the university bring out for their guest speaker? Jerry Seinfeld. And he kind of made some interesting comments during his speech at the graduation ceremony. Well, the next thing you know, the little anti-Semitic brats all had a temper tantrum and walked out. So I wonder if they're actually going to get their physical diploma. Maybe because of their rude behavior, Duke University may decide to hold back their diplomas and never pass them out. I mean, these kids, they're walking in their cap and gowns and they're holding up bloody hands. They're wearing a piece of male attire, the kiffah. So they don't even know what they're doing or what the article of clothing that they wear in solidarity truly represents. And it's getting interesting because last Sunday when they had the Jewish Women's Gathering near DePaul University, a bunch of them decided to stick, a bunch of pro-Palestinian idiots decided to stick their nose in. And thankfully, there were enough members of the CPD who showed up to create a safe barrier. So we got to give props out to the CPD. I know that Baboon Johnson is probably like pooping bricks, but hey, now Baboon is kind of like scratching his ass, so I'm wondering, what am I going to do? They're now talking about possibly pulling out the Democratic Convention out of Chicago because they realized that it may not be safe. Here, Chicago is supposed to be like, hey, it was the Chicago Guidos who got JFK elected. And when JFK kind of dissed him, they helped other people eliminate JFK. Well, hey, the DNC, you've messed up with your Italian family connections here in Chicago. Their neighborhoods are now getting destroyed and made unsafe by Baboon and Looney Tunes' decision to make Chicago a sanctuary city. Certain neighborhoods that used to be a safe bastion are no longer because you've got these little idiots roaming around. Definitely. You've got the little idiots roaming around, and I get a suspicion that way back when, I'd say it was during the 1980s, they discovered it. It was a off Route 83 that is in that quirky area that's like a Cook County, DuPage County border area near Argonne Labs. Well, there was like a kind of desolate spot that nobody was using for anything, but it was being used. It was kind of like a dumping ground for certain things. I mean, back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the two ways to, how do I put this nicely? If somebody had to dispose of a skeleton, they would either take it out to the dumping ground off of Route 83, or they would put it in the trunk of the vehicle and put it in the long-term parking lot at O'Hare Airport. Yeah, that was like, because CPD never really paid attention. They thought, okay, long-term parking. A lot of people would park their car there if they were going to be gone on like a 3-week cruise or something. So if a car sat there for like up to 12 weeks, they really didn't pay attention. But after a certain period of time, they did start like, hey, when is this person coming back from their trip? So, yeah, the anti-Semitic behavior is basically decimating the DNC's stronghold on Chicago. And a lot of these kids will no longer be able to benefit from scholarships offered by the universities because most of the donations from the Jewish community goes towards the scholarship programs. And these idiots are just they're popping themselves in their own foot. So we just have to stay strong. Keep our Star of Davids visible. And if one of these punks starts doing nasty shit to us, document and report. Because anti-Semitism, many people say, never forget, never repeat. But it's happening again now. Instead of Adolf's Democratic National Socialist Party, it's now the Islamic Republic of Iran who wants to eliminate every Jew. After the next people that are on the hit list are the Christians. So they better be careful. The Christians had better start stepping up, especially those that are Italian Catholic. Hey, you're the ones that are kicking in the money to the Pope. Why hasn't he really stood up and started fighting back. Time for all you Italian Catholics to start making noise in Vatican City. Why haven't you? Or do you enjoy your payments from alternative sources of income? Now, yeah, we know these idiots, the people who are supporting the Islamic Republic of Iran in their attempts to take over the world, they complain that people who are trying to end this takeover, they're saying, oh, they're killing their women and children are being sent across the Rainbow Bridge. Well, they forget that start listening and start really exploring the intricacies of extreme Islam, the Shiite extreme view of Islam. They consider women and children human Kevlar. Yesterday I caught, there's another channel, Cults to Consciousness. And she's lately had a gal on who is a former Muslim who actually was sent off to be a bride of an Al-Qaeda member. She spoke the truth. Little girls, yes, the boys who pretend to be girls will be most likely buried up to their neck and then stabbed. The people with female anatomy will be sold off to the highest bidder and physically abused for the rest of their life. Yeah, they don't get it. But we've got people like Cami Poop Harris who are applauding this behavior. And it's ironic because here her daddy is allegedly from India. Well, the Hindus and the Sikhs cannot stand the Shiite Muslims. So she's basically, by supporting this bullshit, Cami Poop Harris is giving a double middle finger salute to her own heritage. How convenient that she ignores the fact that she's West Indian. Because if she followed that, applauded that part of her heritage, it wouldn't fit the narrative needed by the Democrats. Now, the Democrats are now having the little robot puppet, JoJo. I mean, he's going out now and he's claiming that, oh, when he came in January of 2021, the inflation rate was 9% plus. Wrong. It was 1.4%. A year after he was in office, that's when things started to skyrocket. And then he tells his other little lies that, oh, the kid that died from cancer, he says, oh, he was killed in Afghanistan. Not. And then he says his uncle was eaten by cannibals in New Guinea. Not. Anyone who was with any Army, Air Corps, Air Force connections can get the real info on JoJo's uncle. Nah. They got into a scrap with some Japanese Zeros. That's what happened. Now it's like, okay, we know Donald is still tied up in court with the stupid case, and inch by inch it's blowing up in the Democrats' face. Well, now of course, little JoJo was told to make this, throw some shade at Donald, saying, "Oh, I hear you're free on Wednesdays." Yeah, because you see, the two big candidates are supposed to have their debates after the after the political conventions. And during the early, and a couple of them are supposed to take place during the early voting period. Well, JoJo is now saying, okay, no, it's not going to do that. I'll debate you in June. Okay, and then the other one is supposed to take place in September. Both debates prior to the release of all those mail-in ballots. Now, it's going to be, when those debates do happen, it's going to be really interesting watching them. And I know that the last time we had to listen to JoJo mumble bumble through shit. Yeah, I had a Manhattan in my hand, and you know what? Again, I'm going to have a Manhattan, Crown Royal Manhattan, to sip on with extra cherries. You kind of need it, because otherwise, a lot of people, their blood pressure is going to go through the ceiling. So you need some sort of way to lower your blood pressure to kind of get yourself back down. Alcohol is a depressant. So if you're super hyped up about something, I mean, the alcohol will do enough to relax you. It gives you enough Dutch courage to quiet down. Yeah, I did put something like that up on one of the other gals. She mentioned the debates, and I'm like, okay, what is everyone's beverage of choice gonna be? And a lot of people are like, okay, I don't drink, but I'm gonna have a gallon tub of chocolate ice cream. I mean, snack foods for those debates. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of alcohol and yummy, yummy treats being consumed those evenings. So, yeah, maybe I should stock up on that popcorn mix of the caramel and cheese popcorn. It comes in a blue bag here in the States. It's kind of expensive, but maybe I'll make sure I have a couple bags of it. Definitely. And it's getting funny. And now, because we know that Biden, JoJo, is still getting hit with questions right and left because of Barry's decision to open our U.S. borders to all the scumbuckets. Yeah, this stuff started when Barry Soetoro was elected president. He started because, remember, he is a Muslim. Although when the truth comes out, and should he go over there, he'll be asked to go play Superman because Barry likes white boys. It's ironic. He doesn't even like people of his own color. I mean, his marriage to Mikey is nothing but a marriage of convenience. And now, because the precedent has been set here in the United States that, okay, you cross the border, you come in illegally, you qualify for all the government handouts, and you're given a date to show up in front of immigration court, but these fools disappear into the hordes of mass idiots. Well, now it's turning out that people in England, the dinky divers, the guys coming across the channel, are following the example of the jerks that waded across the Rio Grande. The UK invaders are basically convenient, not showing up for their home office appointments. I mean, they want to stay so bad, but they don't want to go to the home office to become a legal UK resident. Well, yeah. And then when you see the reports of people talking to these illegal entry entities, They're like, well, we don't want to go to Rwanda. There's nothing for us down there. Yeah, because you're basically being sent back to an area where they practice Islam. No. But it's a country that doesn't have all the luxuries that the UK and Europe have. These fools are saying, no, we don't want to go to Rwanda. We want to go back to a European country like France or Germany. Basically, yeah, they want to go to Germany because they're trying to set up a new government that is basically a caliphate. They want to turn Germany into a Muslim, extremist, Shiite Muslim country. Well, they're pushing it. And it's all because of Angela Merkel. But it's going to start blowing up. There are going to be more and more people who are pulling out souvenirs brought back from the grandfathers and great-grandfathers. A lot of the real Germans. They have stuff tucked away in trunks. People who pull shit on the real Germans, the real Aryans, these bozos had better watch out because it's going to start turning on them. And of course, now we know that our Secretary of State, Blinken, is a complete moron. I mean, the video is now making the rounds of Blinken going up, pretending he plays guitar. I wonder how long and who got stuck teaching this asshole to play the song Rockin' in the Free World. And one thing I haven't seen or found yet, what is Neil Young's opinion on his song that was initially put on his album 1989's Freedom? What is Neil Young's thoughts and opinions on Antony Blinken using his material? It's ridiculous. And why hasn't Blinken, instead of going and playing the guitar, why hasn't he, sorry, allergies, why hasn't Blinken made any comments on the idiot that put a projectile into Slovakia's Prime Minister, Robert Fico? Yeah, somebody put a projectile into his abdomen. Yeah, we haven't heard anything from, or I haven't seen yet anything from the United States. The only person who has openly expressed major concern is Victor from Hungary. Ironic that the two countries that are basically, and those of us that are getting attacked by these losers, are the ones that are standing up and saying no to this Shiite Muslim bullshit. Yeah, hey, yeah. My mom's side, yeah. My mom's side is Jewish. Yeah, I've got the scar on my right breast to prove it. Yeah, I had to have something removed. But I don't whine and piss and moan about it. Yeah. Basically, those of us who that Hitler would have loved to put into a boxcar, we're standing up, we're fighting back. And yet there's all these little fools in the world, these kids, these under 45s, that were never taught the correct history, and go after people out of pure ignorance. And now it's like, hey, Neil Young, you're in your 70s. You're a baby boomer. Why in hell haven't you said anything about Blinken using your music? And there's now, it's like now they're pulling out stuff from 2017 Okay, right now the Cannes Film Festival is just kicked off for the next. That area of France kind of gets jam-packed for the next couple of weeks. And now it's being disrupted. I mean, first they're trashing the Eurovision contest. Now they're going to trash the Cannes Film Festival. And these little kids don't realize that it's still, the film industry is still kind of like the upper dude guys, the main producers that come up with the cash to make these films. A lot of them still had a bat or a bar mitzvah. Yeah, they're going after, these fools are going after and protesting against the people that create the movies they watch. And now you've got the little Me Too idiots, you know, the ones that wore the stupid hats. I mean, those idiots from 2017, well, they don't realize it. That starting in 2010, 2011, 2012, there were a group of women who were calling out the film industry for the misbehavior. But all of them were put under gag orders. And the unions that they went up against are under a gag order. But if somebody starts trashing them who's affiliated with one of those unions, they're going to be in a hell of a lot of hot water. So yeah, we're watching. I mean, Meryl Streep, okay, she's getting an honorary Palme d'Or. And basically, one of the reasons they're giving it to Meryl Streep is because of her performance in the movie Sophie's Choice, which shows the horrors of what happened to the normal people in Poland who weren't even Jewish. That movie Sophie's Choice, Sophie, her character, one of the reasons why she was thrown into the camp is because she was standing up. Her father allegedly was in agreement with Adolf, or the Wannsee Conference. But they needed to eliminate all the evidence and the people who knew the truth of who was saying what. So all these little pro-Palestine people, you guys are on the roundup list also. But people haven't realized it, and they will soon. Now, the other thing that's making the rounds is, I guess, they undraped the new portrait of KC3, done by Jonathan Yeo. A lot of comments are being made about it. When I laid eyes on it, the first thing that came in my brain, go watch the movie Portrait of Dorian Gray. Yeah. Go find it online. It's on the one streaming channel. If you've got a Roku box, it's on the streaming channel called Movieland TV. Yeah, go find it. Portrait of Dorian Gray. Even the portrait of... Well, watch the movie and now you will see why I made the connection. And then hopefully when I go live on Sunday, a few people will have watched it by then. So, okay, I'm over 30 minutes now, so I'm going to let everybody go. And next video will go up on Friday. Catch you later. Bye-bye.